Alright then, fellas. So I think this time around I'm going to talk about our vehicles. It could be a college car, it could be something you want to buy right off the lot. What inspired me to make this video is essentially because I've been experiencing car problems for the past, what, maybe like month. I mean, right now the car has been fixed, but it was a pain in the, you know what, trying to get it to work, right? But essentially, what was wrong with the car was that I normally like to work on my own car. Um, but what started the issue was a spark plug blew up. It flew out the way. It started causing some issues. I disconnected the fuel injector so I can run the car on 3 cylinders. It was successful at making it from where I was to the home. And then the issue from thereafter was essentially just figuring out what the hell, right? It was problem after problem. I had bought a new spark plugs, obviously, new spark plug wires, and then the wires was the issue in terms of the gasket. The spark plug gasket was like leaking, so the spark plug wasn't getting enough spark. The oil was burning, and not enough spark. So what happened? I had to replace the distributor, which is fine. Luckily, I have an older car, so the parts for it, the aftermarket parts for it, is a lot on the cheaper side, which is ideal if you're broke like me. But anyways, well, what I did was I bought new distributor, new wires, new spark plugs. And then the car still wasn't going. I bought it, all kinds of things, putting more work into the car. I took apart the engine, or not the engine. I took apart the intake manifold and everything that came on top of that, and only to not have the car work. And a couple of checks later, I'm over here at the shop. And just for him to tell me that the spark plug wires were out of order, and so the firing was out of sync, and I was like, what the hell? But anyways, I went through all of that already. I just went through an oil change right now, tire rotations, and cleaning the rims of the car. Looks nice now. The car runs fine. The car's fine. The car's perfect. But anyways, my point of this video was essentially to share with you guys my thoughts and my opinions on when is a good time to buy a new car, to restore our current car to work on it, etc. My inspirations for this topic comes both from my experiences with this car, because I was considering buying a new one and I was checking online to see what I could buy. Uh, but also was essentially trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with this car, and how much can I afford to buy, right? Uh, I'm sure you guys who are more in the financial space know about YouTubers like Dave Ramsey, even though he's more of a he was a TV radio talk show host, and along with I forget their names, but essentially they're um they're huge on this finance space, right? So my opinions does stem off of theirs, and I do tend to be a little bit on the conservative side when it comes to how much am I willing to spend for a newer car. Don't get me wrong, I love cars. I do want a Type R. I thought about importing a four-door Skyline. I thought about buying a Civic and souping it up to my current car, having a Accord. I thought about putting the Prelude engine into it because I've seen it done before, and I was like, why not? If I needed a new engine, might as well just buy NH22A from the Prelude and toss it in there because I know it fits. But anyways, now to the core video. uh, I thought about uh, so for all of my students out there who are more on the okay, I work part time, I barely work 15 20 hours a week, and uh, I don't have that much money to spare on a car, and I get it, 100% I get it. Um, so the rule of thumb is basically you put 20% down payment for the vehicle that you want, and the total value of the vehicle shouldn't be more than 30% or 50% of your total income. I know the median salary here in the U.S. is a bit less than 60K according to the Bureau of Statistics. So if we're just strictly going off of the average, then a brand new base model Civic and a base model, I think even an Accord would definitely fit. For those who are making a bit around 60K. So if I mean, I'm assuming if you want to stick closer to that the 50% of your income model, right? And taking out a loan for your car is also something that I'm really against. I'm a strong believer that we don't need a brand new car off the lot every single time, or when we get a new job after college, when we have that corporate fancy job, higher paying a job. All of a sudden we feel like we need money, or well, money and a luxurious or new vehicle to go along with that type of vehicle, or have a nice vehicle that goes along with your higher paying job. Not necessarily. If we want to stay as middle class members of the society, then we should do what they do. So if we're lower class, wanted to be in the middle class, then what we should do is get car loans. But if you want to be on the higher class, wealthy individuals, then we should tend to depreciate our current cars all the way to the max, and even further beyond if the car still runs. What's funny is that because the used car market has surged for some reason, a bit after the pandemic, I bought my car for 1,700 back in 2016, 17, and for some reason it's worth like what more than that for some reason. And my car is pushing 300K mileage. So what I've always said, what I was telling my friends was that, hey, like, as long as this car works and it's still gonna keep going, I will fix it up. I will replace certain parts that it wants fixing. If the car looks decent on the outside and not as banged up, then I will keep rolling with it. I'll keep pulling up with that car, and only until it's totaled, or only until it needs a new engine, or maybe something bad has happened to it catastrophically that kind of just warrants a new vehicle, then I'll do that. But my plan is to get a second car on top of the car that I already have, but that's more now. I will have more information as we earn more money, and how the market fluctuates from now until when I make that decision. But anyways, a bit off topic, but essentially what I'm telling you guys is that 20% down on your car payment. The the total value of the car should be less than half of your annual income. So if we're making a median salary at 60K, then anything below 30K seems to be a good idea. The issue about getting a new car, especially for my college students who are recent grads and who just got a higher paying corporate job, you don't always need a fancy car that goes along with it. If you are able to get something around, um, let's say 30, 20K, but then again, you can't really buy anything brand new fresh out the lot at 20K. Um, then again, if we're a brand new college student, then we really don't need a 40 to $50,000 vehicle. I get it. We're spoiled. I get it. We want something nice and flashy, but what isn't nice and flashy and will bury you alive if you can't keep up with the payments is the car loan, especially if it's a high interest rate on the car note. It could be anything from 6 to 7 to like 15 that I've seen. For what? For how long? I've seen notes. Minimum you can take out is 2 years. I've seen those for up to 7 years. Imagine. Uh, but what I'm saying is that what we could do is keep a brand new vehicle away, store it away, have the idea for into the future, and then keep the vehicle that you have currently good. Keep up with the maintenance, do the oil changes if you do your own oil changes. I'm sure most of the car guys out there would already do their own uh, um would already do their own what's it called, oil changes to begin with, because car guys are just car guys. If we have the tools, we just do it by ourselves. We'll take it to the mechanic if it's the last thing we do. But for all of the people who are not mechanically inclined or too lazy to, we're paying somebody less than what $80 to get an oil change. It's still a bit on the pricey side. If you have a higher vehicle, higher mileage vehicle, then every 3 months or 3,000 miles driven should be when you gotta do the oil change. Never skip the oil change. And just do basic maintenance. For all the mechanic guys, just clean the throttle body, do your spark plugs, do the spark plug wires, do the tire rotations to avoid excessive use and just uneven wear, and of course the brake pads. So my brake discs need changing, so I'm gonna go ahead and figure that out before anything serious happens in the future. But yeah, as a recap, we don't need a new car as soon as as soon as we graduate after college. We don't need a new car to go along with our corporate job. 20% down. The value of your vehicle should be less than half of your annual income. The example I mentioned is the average salary in here in the U.S., which is 60K. So half of that is 30K, right? But you could get a decent base model, an Accord, a base model Civic off of that too. The issue on top of that is also the car payments, right? How much of a loan, how much of a note are you willing to take out, right? Could be 7 years, which is whack. 4 years is also whack. 2 to 3 years is ideal. I would prefer going into loan for having the new car. But hey, to each their own. I'm here to provide my opinion, to guide. But at the end of the day, it is your money. Personal finance is personal. It's personalized, and you are able to do whatever it is that you want, whether it be stupid or savvy with your own money. I'm just here to advise, to talk, and yeah. If you have any more questions regarding finance, hit me up. I like talking about stocks, credit cards. But now I just spoke on vehicles and whether or not we should buy a new vehicle when we have the money or when we have that new job. X, Y, and Z's. Alright then, fellas. Later.
On objective Bravo.
Let's go! Let's move!
Bravo. We need defensive support on the marked objective.
Enemy explosives are on